Welcome back to the WCBL Season 6, Week 4 versus Pokeprimer, and start of our second draft. New team. Yay. So this week we are going up against Pokeprimer. So far we are 2-1 in this league. Rough start. Choked first game, second game. My hacks did not work out, and third game stunted on them. So hopefully this fourth game is better. So let's go over the team before going over the battle. So bringing Hoopa, regular Hoopa, Ghost DMZ, Magician, Trick Room, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, Substitute. Basically, I noticed against Primer's team, he did not have the best ways of dealing with Trick Room. Quite a fast draft. And yeah, so bringing this Trick Room. No, I am Spadef, bulky enough to take hits like a Shadow Ball from Mega Latias, which he did draft since he was one of the earlier drafters, as well as enough physical bulk to take a, I want to say it was a +2 Earthquake. Not a Meghorn though, if he was adamant. At full health. If I had rocks, I definitely didn't live an Earthquake. But that was to force him to either, if he does go for the Meghorn, he might miss that. If he goes for the safe bet, thinking that Earthquake will knock out, I could live and take that out. His Scolipede, which I really thought had a good matchup against my team. So, plan for that. And basically, Shadow Ball Focus Blast hits at least his entire team neutral or super effective, which is real great. Next mon that is more likely to take advantage of this Trick Room is my Thor the Cobalion, Life Orb, Iron Fist, Ice Hammer, Drain Punch, Stone Edge, Thunder Punch. Basically everything on his team basically almost gets one shot, exception being, I think the only thing that this doesn't one shot is actually Tapu Fini, which is great. So goal of the game is to weaken Tapu Fini, set up Trick Room, come in with Cobalion, and at least get a couple kills, like set up Trick Room, switch out. That's 2 turns of Trick Room, so at least 2 kills then with Cobalion. And yeah, that is my game plan going into this game. Trick Room sweep with these 2, and on defensive roles, we have Mandibuzz, Sam, Leftovers, Overcoat, Foul Play, Roost, Toxic Defog. Max physical bulk because I am a bit worried about Scolipede running through my team. It is one of his Z users. So I had to basically go full on bulk because if he sets up a Sword Stance, this is the only thing that can take a hit, a Z move, and be able to knock it out from full. So kind of my panic button for that. I have a AV Garchomp, Rough Skin, obviously, to whittle things down. Speed was to outspeed. Oh, I didn't even use all my points. What? I had 72 extra points laying around. Uh-oh. Well, it didn't really matter. But I think I was going to put them in attack, but I forgot to do that. Oh well, but obviously I believe it was especially bulky enough to live 2 Dracos from Mega Lati, or at least 1. I think it was 1. 1 Draco from Modest special attacking Mega Latias, as well as an Ice Beam from that bad boy. And basically coverage to hit everything super effectively. Spadef also is nice with the AV to help take Moonblast from Tapu Fini if for some reason I am forced between this and that, which is probably why I thought I was going to put the 72 in attack, but didn't, just so that I could out damage it if it was bulky, or live a hit if it was special. Kind of a guide for that. Also, speaking of Tapu Fini, I am bringing Steve the Seismitoad Leftovers Water Absorb Stealth Rocks called Toxic Earth Power. Especially bulky for that Tapu Fini. Helps wall that. Could easily set up rocks against it. Is Fini one of the ones that gets defog, or is that just Coco? If it does get defog, then I'm fine with that because that wastes its missing terrain, and I can wait that out and get some toxic off of it. Also, it doesn't frighten out Fini, so I can get the necessary chip with Scald and Earth Power for that Thunder Punch to KO from the Cobalion, which is real nice. And then last but not least, another mon that sort of takes precedent over the Trick Room if for some reason Cobalion gets knocked out. If I play it recklessly early, just trying to get a one-hit KO, because I know it can basically take any one shot from any of his mons and knock it out, except for maybe like an Iron Head or Drain Punch from Breloom or Bisharp. Did not actually have Choppleberry on this. I meant to change it over to Choppleberry, but for some reason I still had leftovers on it, which is not that important. Did not come up in the game, but still interesting. Also, I did not remember to change it to this defense and special attack spread. It was supposed to, in the game, it actually did have max special attack and then 8 defense or something like that. Yeah. But basically, slow pivot. If he does decide to bring like Mudsdale, have the Magnet Rise for that, and should be able. Well, with the spread was supposed to be able to like. That's also why I had Choppleberry, because if I had Magnet Rise, the only way Mudsdale could touch me then was with a superpower. I believe it gets superpower. And Chopple would resist that and get some kills with that. Magnet Rise is also nice if he decides to bring Earthquake on his Mega Lottie, which this would most likely otherwise wall. And yeah, that is my team, so let us get into the battle. Boop. Nope. You don't see that. So this is teams. He decided to not bring Bishop, which I was also kind of fearing. Just because after SD could basically one-shot my entire team. Also threatens the Sucker Punch / Pursuit onto my Hoopa, which is very scary. Which kind of would ruin my Trick Room plan, but don't see that, so I'm like, great, this is going to be easier to pull off a Trick Room sweep. But also looking at his team, possible leads on his part is like maybe Spike's Toxic Spike Scolipede, or Rocks on the Miltank or the Meteor. I think it gets Stealth Rocks, pretty sure it does. So what I am thinking is that I will lead off with Garchomp if he, because I know it can take one hit from anything on his team, or I could easily switch out, and I could get damage if I don't switch out. But yeah, so lead off with Garchomp going into this as he decides to lead off Miltank. Also, immediately go into Seismitoad, knowing that he will most likely want to get his Rocks ups, and then I could set up either my own rocks or go for the toxic, as he does go for the stealth rocks. I go for the stealth rocks here, expecting Finny to come in, but he just goes for body slam, which is fine because I am getting leftovers to cover. And now I know he wants to just stay in, so I'm going to go for the toxic. Start getting this whittled, because if it is like a Choppleberry, it could take a Drain Punch from Cobalion, or a Focus Blast from Hoopa. Hold up. I do get parried, and so far have not really seen anything that really threatens out Hoopa on this Miltank, so I decide here after being paralyzed that I would switch into it, and lucky for me, he does go into his Finny, which cannot touch this unless it's like some kind of spec set. But even then I'll know it's specs and I can go into something like Magnezone, but I highly doubt it would be specs. It's based off of his team looking more like a defogger. Probably wouldn't want defog on the Lottie or the Meteor. Don't even think Meteor gets defog, but it might because it is the flying type and everything got defog for some reason. So right here, expecting to not take anything, I go for the Trick Room, just so I can start sweeping. And seeing that he is running Nature's Madness, I am expecting him to be like some kind of defog Nature's Madness Surf set with other move unknown. Probably not Moonblast though if he is running Nature's Madness, because usually if you're running Nature's Madness, you do not have room for the Moonblast. And that's fine because I do get up my sub as he goes for the Nature's Madness, which would not break my sub. And then I go for the Never Ending Nightmare, just to put this in range of my Cobalion. I'm fine if he does break my sub, if he is a specially invested. Could break it with like a Surf or a Moonblast, sort of a roll with the spread I went for, since I did invest some of the bulk in physically instead of fully specially. And that I'm fine with that sub being broken. However, goes for the Surf, does not break it, which means I can just fire off another Shadow Ball. Fine with it going to Miltank because we'll still have one turn of Trick Room, and then I can go for the Focus Blast and knock it out. If it is not specially invested, which it wasn't, and if it had Chopple, I would still have time to set up another Trick Room. But nope, goes into room, still have the sub up, so I am free to go for another Trick Room. And then just get damage off with Shadow Ball, since I am fine with this going down. Since it'll mean I will now have 3 turns to bring in Cobalion and wreck his team. Kind of forgot about Mach Punch, but knew I had quite a lot of bulk since I had no speed investment. Took that out with Ice Hammer. Go for Ice Hammer here. Knows it will still take out anything he has left on his team. And yeah, get another kill with Cobalion real nice. And then he goes into Meteor, which is basically his last sack. Probably could... Oh, I actually did win for Drain Punch. Oh, good HP. Probably could have also gone for the Drain Punch against Breloom, but was kind of worried about him wasting my Trick Rooms with switching with Lottie, which might have been able to put me in range of living that Poison Jab. But this is fine. Go into Mandibuzz, not +2, know I can take a hit. Go for the Roost here, because if he is the Mega Horn, if he goes for it here, I can Roost up. It does like maybe 50%, like maybe max. And then Roost up and be able to get this healthy enough to finish off Mega Lottie as well. And if he does Swords Dance, which he did, I can most likely take a hit. It'd be like the very, very max roll for him to possibly knock me out from full. And I can knock him out with foul play. He decides to go for the SD. Kind of risky on his part. Probably didn't expect me to have something on Scolipede to deal with it, like maybe Brave Bird or a foul play, which don't know why, since Mandibuzz really does like to run those moves as like its fourth move, like as in with Roost, Toxic, Defog, or maybe Taunt over Toxic. But yeah, he does reveal to have the Savage Spin out, but I do take that and knock him out. And then he just has Mega Lottie. Go for the Toxic in case he wants to try and set up. However, he just decides to go for the Dragon Pulse. I go into Magnezone, scouting what kind of spread it is. If it didn't have Earthquake, I would be able to two-shot and weaken it so that I would not have to worry about my Garchomp being knocked out into shots. And yeah, that does go down. And then I bring in Garchomp to finish off the Mega Lottie with a Dragon Claw. Probably why I thought Dragon Claw wouldn't take it out in one shot earlier was because I didn't actually have those 72 investment. Maybe would have shown in my calc when I was calcing it that would have, if I did have that 72, and could have saved myself a differential, but it doesn't really matter. A win is still good, and that makes us 2-2, which is real nice. Catch us next week for week 5 as we take on King Eevee, and hopefully we can win again and go 3-2, and I believe that would put us into the 6th seed based off of what other people records show. I think there might be 1 or 2 games still left in week 5 that could change it to me being like 7th, but still really good spot overall, since we are reaching like the halfway point of the league. So hopefully we can continue getting better and finish out the season actually making playoffs. So catch you for that. Bye bye.